Hi, everybody. Mic check, mic check. Let me know in the live chat if you can hear me well. It's always nice if you do a live stream of an hour and the sound wasn't working. Been there. Today, I want to introduce myself as somebody else. Well, same person, new role. Because I'm doing this live stream out of name of DexJack. And this is what we are going to do multiple times a week. So I'm streaming this to the DexJack X community. What's up, people? And also to my own YouTube channel. So I shortly want to introduce myself to the people who don't know me and then want to go over the schedule that's planned for today. But first, again, in the comments, let me know if you can all hear me well, so I know that I'm not talking to myself, which is pretty important for me actually. So let's see, we got 50 people in so far. Nice place right here. All right. Let me get everything in the screen right here so you guys know exactly what we're up to. For the people that don't know me, my name is Menno. I am the new head of DexJack Creators, and we want to make sure that crypto is on your radar at the right time. And therefore, it's good to do occasional live streams so you are updated with the market, with what's going on, how Bitcoin is moving, the news that it's happening out there, and also, of course, how it affects our most beloved thing, not our wives, no, our altcoins, right? Most important of all. That's how we really make money. So that's what I want to go over in this video. Very quickly to introduce myself. I'm Menno from the FOMO Factory. I've been in crypto now for 12 years. Bought my first Bitcoin at $400, sold it for $800, not knowing that it would be 120K one day. So congratulations to everybody who saw this coming. I for sure did not. But I think it's all now a little more clear for us that Bitcoin is definitely here to stay and that altcoins are a very good way of making money. And at the moment, the market is ripping. So I really want to go over that. Why is Bitcoin making these new all-time highs? And how could it affect the altcoin market? And what tools from mostly DexJack can we actually use to get the most out of that? So welcome, everybody. If you want to like the video, would help a lot for everybody's sake. And yeah, let's get into that. So don't mind the accent. I'm very Dutch, and so you can obviously hear that. But that should not stand in the way, of course. So let's go over the schedule. The schedule that I want to do with you guys today is first the introduction. Well, I'm Menno. Hi. Bitcoin all-time high. Altcoins, are they potentially next? What kind of tools can we use for making sure that we don't miss out on the best altcoin opportunities out there, right? And also, let's do a small Q&A at the end of the live stream. Now, let me see if it's all streaming properly on X as well. That definitely looks fantastic. So for sure, leave your comments, questions, everything on X as well. Now, let's get over this. I think it is now time in the market to really make sure that you are well positioned. Okay, if you look at the crypto market right now, Bitcoin is sitting at $118,000. Can you imagine? There's a day right now where we can say that Bitcoin dipped to 119K. It went all the way down to 119K. It's over, guys. It's over. Sell your bags. It's never going up again. So usually what we see in the market so far, and we can discuss later on, like, hey, is this time different? What makes it different? Is it maybe not different? I try to stay as unbiased as possible, but I also would like to stay a little realistic in here. But definitely let me know your thoughts on this, because hey, I'm just going over the market doesn't mean that I have all the answers, of course, right? But usually what we see is the money flow, and the money flow is very simple: from BTC to Ethereum to the high caps, and then to the small caps, which, gives us a pretty decent alt season. So if you are excited for alt season, I see 128 people so far, then let me know. How are you positioned? Now, maybe it's good to also go over a little bit of strategy. So Bitcoin is doing fine. We know that. Altcoins are also doing fine, right? ETH is outperforming Bitcoin over the last 7 days. XRP is outperforming Bitcoin and ETH over the last 7 days. And we have a lot of other performers that do very well, such as Cardano, Hyperliquid. XLM is going completely crazy. Sui is doing well. HBAR is doing well. Right? What you'll notice is that the big gains over the last 7 days, it's a lot of high caps, right? And it's also because I'm now just on page 1, so there are only high caps right here. But mostly the lower caps are still a little bit lagging. Now, again, is that concerning? This is for me confirmative, like, hey, the market is running. We now have time to allocate and to position ourselves the right way into the low caps, if you are willing to play that game, of course, and then to wait for those to go up. Now, on DexJack, they have amazing tools. So why do I do this out of the name of DexJack, actually? I've known DexJack for a long time. And what I really like about their platform is it gives you a lot of on-chain and price data, right? And we have multiple of these analysis platforms, such as DexTools, one of the most familiar. Back in 2021, I was on KuCoin all the time. But DexJack has the same information, but it's way more expanded. They have AI power to it. And also, you can track a lot of things that you cannot track on DexTools. And you have to go to other places and get the information from all kind of different places, such as following KOLs. Analyze certain wallets. What's a profit or a loss in a certain wallet? You could check it out for your own wallet. But if you follow influencer wallets as well, you can see like, hey, what are the whales actually doing? And that's a really cool feature. So I won't be going over every single feature in this video, because I do think it's important to have full focus on one specific one. And we do these live streams way more often, actually, so that you get familiar with how to actually use this. So do check out DexJack.ai if you want to learn more about that. I think it is actually really, really, really helpful. What you can see right now, for example, is Pengu, right? It has the highest mind share. What is mind share? Mind share basically means how many tokens are there, and how many people relative to this amount of tokens are actually talking about Pengu. So you can be a holder of a certain token, right? But if you never like tweet or anything about it, then the share is very low, which means like, this project, it has holders, but they are so passive. They don't have the community really sitting behind it. So you should wonder like, hey, how good is that for the project, right? Now, Pengu has a lot, of course, going on right now. You can see that it has a lot of mentions, right? Um, Half of it is positive, the other half of it is neutral, and yeah, a little bit is negative. But hey, there's always negative people. You cannot get this as 100, right? But you can also see the KOL mentions, right? So that's really cool about that. Our KOLs actually talking about this token, and you can see on this chart precisely when a certain KOL has mentioned something about this specific token. You see all these tweets right here, and you can actually follow these KOLs as well. You can see our whales buying or dumping the token, right? So if you'll see that, whales are mostly getting rid of the token, it's maybe not a really good sign, actually. And what I love is that the platform also looks at the volume, like DexTools does as well, but they have filtered out how many of those are bots and what's actually organic. Now, don't let it scare you off that you see a lot of bots, because people will always use bots, right? But if you see that it's like only bots and nothing organic, yeah, then it maybe should be a little bit of a warning sign, right? And you should watch out for that. So keep that in mind as well. So again, Bitcoin making new all-time highs, right? Why is Bitcoin making new all-time highs? Let me know in the comments why you think it's doing that. I have my theory, but somebody else might have their theory as well. And I don't know which one is the right one. But all I can say, as far as my theory goes, is this: Bitcoin is designed to go up, right? If you look at Bitcoin, it's an asset which is very scarce, and people now, or always basically, they realize like, hey, I should hold this. I want to hold this. It's the same as gold. Like, what is gold? You have gold. Yeah, so what? Who cares, right? But we linked a value to it, and that creates value. Now, the dollar is, of course, always basically in a downfall. So if Bitcoin is measured against the dollar, then we don't even need more demand for Bitcoin to go up. So the reason, you can look at news, right? And that's what I love about DexJack as well, because news does matter, definitely. I just don't think it's the only thing that matters. But here you can follow all the news. You don't have to go to Cointelegraph to find something. You don't have to go then to Coindesk to find something else. Here you'll have all the news lined up real time, right? Snail announced intent to explore proprietary, my Dutchness, right? USD backed stablecoin. The stablecoin deployment in this market is off the charts, right? And that's actually good for Ethereum, right? So you could say like, hey, why is Bitcoin going up? Well, Bitcoin is going up basically just because it is Bitcoin. I don't think we need much good news for that. Why is Ethereum going up now? And why are altcoins going up? And what would make it go up even more? Partly, in my opinion, rotation, right? People, they invested in Bitcoin. It got pumped by retail and ETFs, institutions, whatever it may be right now. People look at the Bitcoin and be like, wow, 120K. Maybe time to take some profits. Maybe put it somewhere where there's more upside, where there's more risk, but more reward as well. And they rotate in now Ethereum, because Ethereum gets more confirmative because of the stablecoin news, the news that it's getting bought OTC. With the way they do it right now, how it's being adopted, it's the same vibes as Bitcoin basically. So in that case, ETH is going up, and yeah, then alts are paired against ETH. They go up automatically with it, and you'll see an alt season. And what would help eventually, Trump, Elon being slightly nicer to each other, right? Better news about the war that's going on right now. The fact that there's still QT going on is not helpful, right? There are no rate cuts yet. And yet, then it's all a matter of perspective, because I look at the market and I'm like, man, even with all of this, it's basically nothing when it comes to good news. Yeah, the adoption is there, but the narrative, like the news, it's not good yet. Imagine if that happens. Imagine if we get one rate cut. Imagine if QT stops. Imagine if we get the stop of QT combined with rate cuts. Like, that's going to be the trigger. And that's going to be the trigger where altcoins are going to completely take over. Unfortunately, I cannot show this chart on DexJack, so I have to show it here. But this is the Bitcoin dominance, for example. Right now, the Bitcoin dominance is showing like, hey, it's pretty overheated, and the Bitcoin dominance going down basically means alt season. In theory, it could also be that Bitcoin's money liquidity is getting deployed into all stable coins, right? And in that case, just Bitcoin goes down, it has nothing to do with altcoins. But in reality, it's mostly always the case that altcoins will have an alt season. Right now, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance and the current risk to buy altcoins, it is like very, very low. Okay. Now, this risk indicator right here, that's an indicator that I've built, short chill. There's a link in the description if you want to join that community, but that's not what I'm going to discuss in these kind of videos. But I wanted to mention it at least once to not completely ignore that. But the Bitcoin dominance is showing like, hey, okay, we, did it top out? We don't know yet, but the risk, the upside right here compared to the downside shows to me like it's time for altcoins. And that's where DexJack comes in very handy, because here you can scan on everything. So we have the token analytics. You can search any token you want right here, see how it is performing. So let me know in the comments. Give me a token that I need to check out actually, and I'm gonna do it like that. We'll do a Q&A later on, but I do see that a lot of people are watching and commenting actually. So let me know in the comments if there's a specific token you want me to check out. Let me go over something. Yes, please let's like the video. Indeed, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah. So there was a comment. Somebody says it looks like July interest rate cuts won't happen. Will alt season lose strength because of this? Also, with yesterday's inflation data coming in harder than expected, September decision might also be in doubt. Look, that's also again a matter of news. We kind of already saw it coming, in my opinion, that the rate cuts in July were not going to happen, and yet altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin in this move, whether Bitcoin went up or down, actually. So I do think that again, rate cuts will help for sure, and it will give the final push. But it's more than just that, and that shows, right? So if we look at a certain crypto YouTuber, there is a KOL scanner, for example, right? Now, let's go to, let me pop up actually a crypto YouTuber or a YouTuber, an Xer. How do you call that actually? Actually, I don't know. That talks about altcoins. All right. Now, let's, for example, take Elio Trades, right? Why Elio Trades? I got a black airdrop today. I like him today, right? We'll see how he does tomorrow. Scan KOL. This is what you can do. Now, over the last couple of days, because this is now filtered on the 7th day, right? He didn't have a lot of content about altcoins. But here you can see, like, hey, he mentioned Super right here, for example. And the sentiment was neutral, right? That's being read by AI. And there he tweeted about Super. You can click it and go to that actual tweet right here. Right? And then you say black airdrops to my reply, guys. Will continue past lunch. Maybe some Super too might give away a house. Okay. So he basically only talked about giving away Super. So that's not bullish for Super and not bearish for Super, right? But it's just neutral. But there you can see, like, hey, he mentioned it here, right? What is the price right now? Which is pretty cool, actually, because if there are influencers having real bullish mentions about a certain coin, you can see, like, hey, how do they do compared to where the price is right now? And that is a really good way of filtering certain people to follow on Twitter. So let me see if I can find a good example right here. Actually, we can go with this guy, Johnny. Crypto got John. Let's see if there's some information for him. Right? Scandy KOL. So yeah, he talks about altcoins all the time, right? So you can go back in history and you, for example, let's find a positive tweet. He said, pump, something about pump, which was positive, right? He mentioned it here, here, here. Price is now here. Conclusion could be that his mentions about pump so far are worth to follow, right? And that's what I really like about this whole platform. You can also find out his average ROI. Now, the average ROI is measured from the moment he tweeted something bullish until where the price is right now. Right? So if you would have bought here and here and here and here, etc., and the price now here, what would the ROI be over the last 30 days? You can filter it on 90 days. Over the last 90 days, he didn't do so good, right? So that's something that you can make out of it. Like with Bank, for example, he said something positive about Bank. Let's see what he said. And he said, let's play a game where we spend pump and bank higher. Send pump and bank higher. Yeah, okay. That's a pretty positive kind of tweet, right? So he said that right here, right? Now, yeah, it went higher, to be fair, definitely. But you can also see based on the chart, the guy's a little late to the party, right? So is he worth following when it comes to his bank calls? Yeah, that's a decision that you can make for yourself. That's a feature that I really like about the platform. Now, if we look at some other tools, which is also really, really helpful, is the dump risk radar. Now, the dump risk radar is showing you certain coins with unrealized profit, right? How much is the average ROI that people are still holding? So if you look at Reploy, for example, on average, people are now still up 3.3x without taking their profits. So it means that if you, therefore, it says, hey, the risk is high. Because if you buy right now, somebody else that already has the token might feel like, oh yeah, I'm now sitting at a 3.5x. I'm gonna dump it. Right? That's something that should not be the motivation to buy and or sell something, but it's something that I think is really handy to at least take into your research before you buy and or sell something, right? I don't know who was here in 2021 or before. Raise your hands. Jokes on you, I can see it, but let me know in the chat. But back then, it was basically like they say, like throwing a dart at the dartboard, and you have a Lambo. Throw another dart, you have a Porsche. Throw another dart, you have an Audi. Like it was that simple, actually. There are more tokens right now, definitely. Um, I don't know if we should consider the like ignore the fact though that there are also a lot of rugged tokens from Pump Fun, which printed tokens on the market, but these tokens are now already rugged and that there's no liquidity anymore. So yes, technically there are more tokens, but the liquidity in the market cannot go there, right? We don't know these tokens in the first place. Plus, if we do, again, there's no liquidity, so you cannot buy them. But still, there are more tokens. And I do think that doing your research is getting more and more important these days, right? And this really helps with that. For example, SPX 6900, one of the most hyped meme tokens nowadays with a $1.8 billion market cap. This is how the chart looks like. A lot of people talk about it, right? You can turn it off right here if you want to just have a clean look at the chart. But the SPX 6900, if you look at this, it is sitting at all-time highs right now. So you could be like, should I buy it? Look, if you, one day Bitcoin made an all-time high to $1,200, right? If you back then thought like, should I buy it? No, it's an all-time high. Today you would regret it, right? So don't let it say like, hey, it's an all-time high, it can only go down. That's not the case, actually. Look at the metrics. Is it positive? Is it negative? How is the volume? How many people, how many traders are in the one last day winning with it? How many are losing? How many are actually offloading it, right? How many whales are buying it? How many whales are dumping it? Right? That's information that you do want to see. Right? And if you now again also look at the dump risk radar for the SPX 6900, it's low, right? Purely based on the fact that the average ROI that people are holding it for is sitting at a 1.3x. So on average, people are in 30% lower profit. Right? They are not likely to sell already. Right? They're not likely to do that. So that comes in very handy. Now you can do this with the Binance Smart Chain as well. Solana is also coming soon, which is one of the more popular chains right now. And I think that DexJack is going to be more interesting over time, right? Because again, let me show you this crypto money flow. You know this chart, right? You have seen this before, probably. The money flow, the new one, I don't think that that's really like this is it. Phase one Bitcoin. We are kind of, it looks to me like we are in that phase slash just getting out of it, right? Bitcoin is still in price discovery, although it has a pause for the last couple of days. That doesn't really matter. But it's not really stopping yet, I think. Phase two, Ethereum. Well, yeah, again, that's what we're seeing right now because the Bitcoin dominance is going down. The ETH dominance is going up right now, right? So ETH got wrecked against Bitcoin and it bounced off of a point that you would say like, yeah, that was the buy basically, right? And if you look at ETH Bitcoin, you can see that it's going up right now as well. So it's reclaiming where it came from. Step one, reclaimed. Yeah, let's go with step 2, 3, 4, 5, and hopefully create a new step, right? So it looks like the money rotation towards ETH is kind of started. Then you see large caps, right? Also, when it comes to DexJack, yeah, you can find them definitely. But if you are a degen, then this platform is like a diamond in the raw, right? But the large caps should now outperform as well after ETH. As you can see right here, this is the altcoin market, excluding ETH on its Bitcoin pair. Right? And then you'll find, turn this off real quick. Then you'll find this. Right? So what do you see? This is only the top 125. So we can say large caps. Right? They're not outperforming yet. They have a bounce. It's not an outperformance, right? This is an outperformance. It's an alt season, right? There's no outperformance. There's not an outperformance yet, right? So I do think that the time for large caps is about to start relatively soon. So if you are in the market saying like, hey, my grandma died, she had a lot of money, and I invested all that money, and I only needed 3x, so thank you, grandma, then, this is what you want to look for. But if you are in the market and you feel like my grandma's still alive, shit, like I don't have a lot of money right now. I have $1,000. I want to make 50x out of it. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is not being a degen though, but it's first just to ride a full cycle. Be in Bitcoin. Take your 8x with Bitcoin, right? Make an 8x, no problem. Bitcoin can give you that. Then rotate it into alts. Make a 5x on alts. That compounded in total to a 40x. You did it, and most of the time you were not even in alts, so you took low risk. That's the way to really make money in crypto without taking a buckload of risk, right? Yeah, making a 10x with Bitcoin right here. Good luck this cycle. So now it comes down to how much degen skills do you have? And that's where these platforms come in really, really, really handy, right? Look at certain coins. Do they have a lot of hype right now? You can start here, for example. You can look at React, right? React. Okay, cool. Let's check that out. Hype score, high, 82%. That's high, right? Holders, 1,413, right? So it's a degen coin, right? It's not a lot, but it's not like that low. You can see how many holders did it increase over the last 6 hours. It's sitting at 0. I must say everything here is sitting at 0. So maybe I have a problem updating this right now. But you can also see over the last 24 hours, that shows 72 hours and 7 days, right? So the holders are increasing. Cool. What's the market cap? $16 million. Quite low. What's the liquidity? 200K. Okay, liquidity is very low right now, right? Compared to the market cap. So there's a lot of hype, but there's a low liquidity. Meaning to me, that this is a degen type of coin. That this is the coin that you feel like, okay, if I'm investing in this, I can make a lot of money, but I should not be surprised if I lose this. Okay, so you could click it and go a little further. Like, hey, how is it all looking? Let's first take a look at the price chart, and apart from what the narrative is, etc. Right? So you can see that the chart is pumping pretty hard, actually. So that looks quite good. And then you can see what people are saying, what KOLs are basically saying about this coin. And KOLs here are defined by people on Twitter with more than a certain amount of followers, with a pretty decent amount of followers, right? So people are bullish on this coin right here. Yeah, I kind of get why, right? It is in price discovery at the moment. The organic growth is quite high, right? And yeah, the bots same, but that's always the case. It's always the case. So then you can check out, hey, what's up with the holders? Because I don't want to be dumped on, right? Now, the top 10 holds 37% of this coin, right? The top 25 is 50%. So yeah, there are quite some whales in the project, right? So again, that could tell you like, hey, be a little careful with this one. And a strategy could be that you buy this coin, and if you make a 2x, take your initial out, right away. And then it doesn't matter what happens anymore. See the holders over time, right? More. Hold the change, right? So yeah, only new holders. But people are not really offloading this coin right here. It's pretty interesting if you ask me. So we'll go step by step, in depth, weekly, about all the possibilities right here, right? Because there is actually a lot that you can do. You can also follow influencers, put it to your Telegram bot, and get a notification if they buy or sell something, right? If you feel like, whoa, I found someone on DexJack which is so worth following, and then you can do that. Here are the top crypto traders. So, for example, in the last 30 days, this address right here made 240K profit. Now, he also realized that profit. He had 6 wins and 4 losses. Right? And then you can click the track function. Then you can say to yourself, like, okay, this person is doing quite well, right? And there you can mess around a little bit yourself. For example, this person, a lot of trades, degen top holder. You can go there, you can see what he's trading, what his profit is, you can find his address, follow it. And if you feel like, man, I just don't want to, think for myself, I just want to follow what these people do it. Because again, at a certain point, we will flow into phase 4, and that's alt season. Although there was / maybe is a lot of disbelief that, like, hey, it's different this time. There's no alt season. These are all topics that we can discuss in these live streams. Maybe that was just the typical sentiment that the market always gave us, just like the end of 2020, right? When people said everything is dead, it's not happening anymore. No, that was not something that you should felt like, oh yeah, let's listen to that. It's dead. That was the counter trade. And hey, all we know, this might be the counter trade as well. And if alt season now kicks off, then what do you think happens to these low cap coins? Right? A lot will die, a lot will rock, a lot will not work out. But therefore, if you use these kind of tools to do your research as good as possible, and you are in some winning coins, Yeah, that could get quite crazy because one, there is already a lot of liquidity in the market. Two, if that liquidity sits in a risk on market, then the explosion could really happen. And yeah, you know what it did in the last cycles. And the most dangerous words in crypto are this time is different. It prevented a lot of people from looking at the altcoin market, for example, and buying the absolute liquidation dip right here or right here, right? Because if you look at the market, let me draw it better, by the way. What am I whining? It was drawn pretty well, right? Give or take. If you look at the market, yeah, people love to buy here, right? Okay, cool. Let them, because you are the one who buys here. You are the one who was maybe sweating a little bit because you bought at a moment where the market was not really bullish, but you are now already in profit. So you can dump on the people who buy here. And with these low cap coins, or basically that tracks everything, by the way, but for the trenches, it's really good actually. Um, it's like you're doing this on leverage, right? And again, be prepared to lose as well. But if it works out, it's kind of crazy. 340 people watching, dude. Like, that's pretty cool. I see a lot of comments as well, by the way. So sorry for not, going over everything. But it also shows that there is a lot more demand for crypto right now than what there was a couple months ago, because my streams did not hit these numbers in April, right? And it kind of shows like, hey, the market is up. People love to come and watch. But there will be a dip, correction, crash, capitulation again. I can guarantee you that. That will eventually happen. Remind this time. Try to think like, okay, if that happens, that's exactly where I want to be, because then I'm able to buy this low, right? And not to feel FOMO when it's here. That makes a big difference, right? Eventually, if you would have bought somewhere here last cycle, 12 billion, right? You wrote it up, you made a 40x. Fine, can't complain, right? But if you bought here, which is not a big difference, right? Yeah, you would have made a 72x. That difference alone could be life changing. And therefore, use the right platforms. Really, really, really important to do that, and not be on Twitter all the time chasing the sentiment, because sentiment is something that you want to counter trade actually. So hit the like button if you are pre-rich. I think we can all do that. Somebody says, please look at Chain GPT, Julia OS DexJack. Okay, so let's start with the order Chain GPT to just go over the DexJack platform a little bit to get familiar with it. Chain GPT, USDT. Always do check out if they have multiple pairs, right? Like could be that they have multiple liquidity pairs, and then you want to see like, hey, which one has most liquidity, is most accurate chart. So yeah, $2.7 million. Chain GPT. Okay, let's take a look at that. Right now, without going over the sentiment, what you, I think, always first want to do is actually decide: am I buying now to be selling next week? Okay, cool. Then let's take a look at the hour chart or whatever, the daily, right? Or am I, investing this period to walk away with hopefully a lot of money, hopefully as close to the top of the cycle as possible? My content on the FOMO Factory is mostly based on the second one, right? Where we don't really trade, we invest, and we try to really look for the bigger picture actually. So in that case, I'm gonna put it on the weekly, and if I look at it on the weekly right now, I can see like a Chain GPT. It has good momentum, right? It came from 6 cents, give or take. It's now sitting at almost 11, so that's looking good. But yeah, there is short-term resistance at the level where we are sitting right now. So once it breaks out, that should be the point where we should all get pretty excited actually. And if we look at the trader insights, winning 15K, right? Losing 23K. A lot of people taking their loss on this token. Yeah, that could be a positive sign. That could be a sign like, hey, it's how you look at it, right? You could say like, oh, a lot of people are selling this token, and why would that be? Maybe I should also sell. Or you should look at it like, hey, I know more about this project than just price. People are now selling for a loss, meaning the price is probably undervalued. Maybe I should get in right now, now that this has not seen a lot of hype yet. That's a way you can look at it. If you look at the top traders, you can find it here as well. It's pretty interesting because this is a bot right here. My head is in the way, by the way. You can find it right here, right? This is a bot. So you should not follow that. Bots are snipers. People apply that on coins and whatever that's not coming from the team, but it's just people want to make money. But this is a user, and this user in the last 30 days has 21K profit. He didn't realize it though, but external 21K, so he may have sent it to another wallet, right? But he has made profit. So what you can do is say like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go to this user right here, because apparently when it comes to chain GPT, he does it well. He knows something that I might do not know. So that might be an interesting one. But let me go over another comment. Let me get my head back. Yay. This is Dutch, but somebody says, I need help to cash out without paying taxes. The only way to not pay taxes is to not make enough money, bro. Eventually, please believe me, eventually, if you want to cash out your money without the IRS seeing it, there's no way. Your future self is gonna hate it. It's like paying taxes sucks, but I hope that everybody will be able to eventually pay a lot of taxes. Okay. A couple of random comments. Menno, I've been following you closely since the dips from February. Your insights have been excellent. Appreciate you. I appreciate that a lot as well. It's not all perfect, but for sure, like, we try our best, not getting emotional in this market, right? Playable games. K-Dub, shout out to you. Playable games. Let me take a look. Is it listed right here? It's on AVEX, and I don't think AVEX is supported actually. So let me find AVEX. Yeah, it is supported. Okay, cool. Let's go to AVEX. No, AVEX is not importing right now. Maybe I'm in the wrong tab. That could also be the case because I haven't had my coffee yet. We'll follow up with that. We got 60 people on YouTube so far. That's pretty decent given the fact that it's a Wednesday when everybody should be at work, and that I did not really announce this. So kind of love that. And 381 in total. Unfortunately, I cannot read the X comments, I think. Let me take a real quick look if I can find that. In the meantime, do like it though. Okay, let me check. Got some. So Crypto Club says, historically, Bitcoin pumps first, then alts explode. Are we about to see that classic rotation again? Yeah, we kind of spoke about that already. And it looks like, I cannot predict it, but it doesn't look different so far, in my opinion. So yeah, that definitely might be the case. Nothing beats the excitement of a true crypto bull run. Somebody said that's definitely true. Somebody asked, but why is DexJack token not making moves at the moment? it's a matter of attention. Look, we are not in that stage of the cycle yet, right? We are now really in a moment, as far as I see it, where Bitcoin outperforms and Ethereum starts. Some high caps here and there, but the rotation is not that far yet. And the mind share is pretty understandable, as people probably think like, hey, I can make decent gains with like very high cap, low risk altcoins. Why would I go into low cap coins, right? And that's is something that will change eventually, and you want to be there just one step before the rest of the market is, right? So again, if you look at this chart and you still believe in this, and you feel like, hey, we are now here, then you should be here, right? If you feel like we're now here, then you should be here. Okay, that's in my opinion how you should do it. But again, that's my opinion, right? I can have a lot of opinions. Um if Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, we could see insane gains for mid-cap and low caps, says somebody on the DexJack X. Yeah, I think so. And I will try to make sure that I have these comments in the screen next time as well. By the way, it's first stream, it's not perfect, but we do a pretty good job, I think. So let's stay positive. Giant pump, by the way, it's pretty cool that you see that pump comes out, and then of course somebody says like, well, we make giant pump, right? Like that's crypto. Welcome. Yeah, you can take advantage of these things, but again, use this to do your research very well. But it has a lot of liquidity. It has decent holders so far. The top 10 is not holding that much. People talking positively about this coin. So, that looks pretty good actually to me. Caravelo says, sorry if I announced it wrong, alt season incoming. Yeah, we spoke about that. Could be. This feels like early 2021 all over again. Yeah, I don't want to cheer too soon because the market can throw curveballs, but I kind of feel the same way. So yeah, it does feel like that again. Indeed, we had the disbelief stage. Everybody was saying altcoins were dead, this and that, and now when Bitcoin is making new all-time highs, altcoins overall outperform. It's a good sign, at least. It's a good sign. Bull market vibes, yes. Bull market vibes, definitely. Yeah, man. I mean, the sentiment is positive. That's good. Watch out if it gets too positive. You want to be a little. Yeah, you have no sentiment for this coin, at least quite new. But if the sentiment gets too positive, then you want to be a little careful. Actually, da, 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 da. When the summer comes, somebody says, I feel bear. July and August. What this time? It's already summer, dude. I don't know about you, but I cannot go outside without sweating my ass off, right? So, yeah, it's mid-July, right? Well, yeah, I mean, we had crypto summers where it went down, and we had crypto summers where it didn't went down. I think it's not that seasonality driven, actually. That actually every season, says something about that. Thoughts on AVAX? Man, my thoughts on AVAX, I think AVAX ecosystem is really bullish, actually. Gaming will be one of that's big on AVAX, right? Gaming will be one of the big winners in this bull run, if not next bull run, right? Although it doesn't feel like that at all, but that actually gives me the confirmation. Crypto and gaming goes hand in hand, like Tom and Jerry, like peanut butter and jelly, like me and my other hand. I don't know. But yeah, it's not really time yet for it, I think. But it has more than gaming. I think AVAX is actually prime to do very well. One last thing, there's the KOL scanner. There's also a KOL index. Last thing I want to show, and in the next streams we will, separate the attention less and go to one place to deep dive. But for example, here you can see over the last 7 days which KOL gave the best calls. Right now, this person right here, he had a call average ROI of 6.5 100%. But it's 100% right. Win is 1 and this lose is 0. So yeah, he basically just gave one really good call, right? And he talked apparently a lot about WeChat Doge, right? So cool. I cannot read this, but this WeChat Doge, you can see it right here, and it was all neutral, neutral. I saw some positive, right? That did well. Cool. Can be luck, right? What I would use this one for, if you zoom out on the 90-day, you get a little more history. But is I would say, hey, who gives more calls actually, right? Like this person, 3 wins and 7 losses, but he's still in a big profit, showing that the wins were way bigger, of course, than the losses, right? The more, the more accurate, right? This person, 20 mentions and an average ROI of 5x. Hey, that's interesting. So this is a person we can say like, okay, let's see what he has to say, right? So he mentioned pump fund, for example, but that didn't do much so far on the open market. But he mentioned what was a good example right here? Let me go there. Mm, I think actually this one went pretty well. Here he did very well. Also here, so World Liberty Financial on Solana. Right now, this has been longer than I planned to do, so I want to wrap it up. Let's do this more often. Let's dive more into the platform. Maybe do some live trading as well to put the money where the mouth is. Actually, kind of do it together like this. I think it's really helpful in this type of market actually to look at the right metrics, because the time is coming where we can gamble again and actually have a higher win rate than what we had over the last pretty much half a year. So guys, stay tuned. Let's do this more often. Drop your comments in the comments. We can also go over that in one of the next videos. Make sure to check out DexJack.io if you want to use the platform. Make sure to check out my YouTube channel if you feel like, hey, I want to follow this dude. Would be really nice. Would appreciate it. Like the video, of course. Stay safe. Take your profits. Like, don't take screenshots. Please take profits. Okay, do it right this time, so you actually walk away with money. Because still, most people will lose. Let it be that we stay on the winning side. All right. Thanks for watching and have a lovely day.